dessert today that's really popular, cheesecake, and you can flavour it up with whatever flavours you like as a family. I'm doing a lemon cheesecake with strawberries on top, but you could do all sorts of different flavours. You can change the biscuits, and we do ginger nuts, but the traditional one is digestive biscuits. You could change the topping or the filling really. You could put peanut butter in it, you could put Biscoff spread in, or you could put Nutella, chocolate spread, you could put a tin of caramel, Carnation Cell ready-made caramel, or caramel, anything like the ice cream squirty syrups. They're quite nice as well. So you can really flavour it with whatever you want, and of course fruit, any fruit, or chocolate. Now I'll come on to chocolate in a minute. So the first thing I'm going to do is you need a dish to do it in. If you haven't got a like a flan dish, this is called, like this, or a tin, because fingers crossed I'm going to take it out at the end so you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to try and do it in this with some tin foil in it. You can do it in a plastic tub lined with tin foil, and you can just lift it out. Quite good for storage in the fridge as well, because usually they have lids on. Or you can do it in tin foil dishes, or you can do it in little glasses. That looks really nice when you do it on little jars, or anything you've got in your cupboard. Teacups would work as well, or mugs even. So it's just an easy dessert, and you can make it quite quirky to look at as well. Right, so I'm doing a large one like this, and I've got a loose bottom metal tin, but you don't have to have loose bottom tins. You can just use any tin, like I said, and I'm going to just line it with tin foil because it's going to make it easier when I'm demming to you to take it out at the end. And fingers crossed it comes out okay. If you haven't got tin foil, you could use cling film because you're not going to cook this particular cheesecake. It's a chilled cheesecake. So first thing I'm going to do is make our base. So I've got about 200 grams of ginger nuts I'm using. And if you haven't got, the good thing about this recipe is if you haven't got a weighing scale, you can kind of guess it as well, because it's quite flexible. A packet of biscuits is 300 grams, so you can kind of guess in the middle, and then another 50, and you've got your 200 grams. So you don't even really need to weigh out your packet of biscuits, We need to make them into crumbs, so you can do this any way you like. Fun, plastic bag. Give it a bash. If you haven't got a rolling pin, you could use a tin or even a frying pan. Be careful with that though. Don't want any squashed fingers. So the rolling pin is probably the best thing to do. The other word of warning: don't go mad, because you can break the bag, and then it's a bit annoying. The other way of doing it is put your biscuits into a sturdy bowl, something that won't break, not your best glass bowl, and give it a bash with the end of a rolling pin like that. So you've got like, you bash all the crumbs out, and it's quite fun to do that. When you've done that, you're going to mix in, and you can do this in a pan if you wish, but I've done it in a microwave. And you can do half the amount of butter. So half the amount of biscuits in weight. So 200 grams of biscuits, 100 grams of butter. And I've melted mine in the microwave, and I'm just going to pour that in. Doesn't matter which way around you do it. Some recipes say to bake your base, but I'm not going to bother really with this. If you want to stick it in the oven for 10 minutes, it will work just as well, but it doesn't need it. There's nothing in there. When the butter sets, the biscuits will stick together. It's as easy as that, and it cools down. You can see that it's kind of sticking a little bit together now. That's going into there, and I like lemon and ginger together, so that's why I've chosen ginger biscuits. But really, chocolate digestives, any biscuits to be fair. Shortbread's quite nice. When we do this at school in GCC, we might make our own base, like a chocolate brownie base. That's a bit of a big lump. I'll just push that in. Chocolate brownie base, or waffles, or what else do we do? Sponge cake. And you can do like almost like a cappuccino cheesecake. So you could do a flavoured sponge and a vanilla middle, a chocolate bottom, a vanilla sponge, and like coffee on top, something like that. Quite nice to do. So press press it down, okay, and you can see I've just squashed it into the ends. I haven't gone up the sides. If you want to give it a go, you can go up the sides. You need a few more biscuits than I've got, okay? So that just goes to one side. You can chill it if you wish, or you can just leave it out and it will start to set. Now, the filling. We've got a basic filling of double cream or whipping cream and cream cheese. That is your basic chilled cheesecake filling. It's the dog, sorry.
Sorry.
So, that's the basic cheesecake filling. What you flavour it with is up to you, as I said, but you do need some sweetness in it. So the sweetness I'm going to use is icing sugar, but you can use caster sugar if you wish. If you want to try a chocolate cheesecake, you can melt some white chocolate or plain chocolate or milk chocolate, about 100 grams, and you can just stir that into the mixture, and you don't need sugar because it's got enough sweetness in itself. I've known it work quite well if you puree, you can squash up strawberries and raspberries, and you can use frozen fruit, it's absolutely fine, or tinned fruit, just drain the juice off. Squash it up with a fork or in a little food processor if you've got one, and put that in, and that's really nice as well. So it's a really easy dessert to flavour with what you want. So my double cream's in here. You can't use single cream for this because you can't whisk it up, and it needs to be quite thick. And you can't use squirty cream either for it. You could use it for decoration as long as you're going to eat it straight away, but you couldn't use it in the filling. I've actually got some extra thick fresh cream which is already very thick, so I'm going to need very, very little whisking, and it's really important not to over whisk double cream, and just until it goes quite thick like that. I'll show you in a minute what it looks like with the pieces. I'm going to put my sugar in. Okay, give it a whisk and then get this bit over with. Oops, make sure your beaters, make sure everything's connected. And put your beaters in, give it a whisk round. Basically, because this is extra thick, it has gone very, very quickly. But you can see that it's holding its shape, and as soon as it's done that, stop. Because if you don't, you'll make butter, okay? And you can't use it for this recipe. So it's quite thick, it's got the sugar in. I'm going to put a whole tub because I don't like waste, so I'm going to put it all in, but it's a small tub of cream cheese. Now I've got the lower fat cream cheese here. The only thing to be careful when you're choosing this, you don't have to use Philadelphia. Just make sure you don't pick up the cheese and chive one or the garlic and herb one, which wouldn't be very nice in this particular recipe. So that goes in. Give it a whisk, not too long because obviously your cream's still whipping, and basically that is your basic filling. I'm grating the lemon into the filling or the topping, and I'm just taking the peel, the very outside of the lemon. You want the zest of the citrus fruit, not the pith. Okay, and the pith is the white stuff, and that's tough, so don't over grate it. Always use the little side of the grater. Okay, so I've got lemon zest in there, and I'm going to put the juice in as well, just a little bit of the juice. I'm going to taste it in a minute to see what it's like. Now, I picked up this gadget from Aldi, and it's fantastic. It's you put your half a lemon in like that, or your lime or orange, and you squeeze it together, and look at that. Oops, nothing's coming out. Oh, the pips went in. Never mind, but it's quite good. Like that, when it gets a lot of the juice out, and the pips. So I'll just take that out, and I'm going to give that a quick whisk, and I'm going to taste it. Now the lemon juice. At the end it'll be a little bit runny, so you just need to make sure. So I'm going to taste it. A little dip. I think it can take a bit more. So really, it's what you like. I'm going to try it. I'll show you another gadget. You could just use a normal lemon squeezer. This is called a reamer, and it's you squash it in like that. You have to be quite strong and just squeeze that in. Now lemon juice is a little bit sour, but it doesn't. Make sure you've not got any pips in. I think I saw one then. And I'm just going to give it another little touch of sugar because it's not that sweet. But don't forget the biscuits will add some sweetness and any fruit you're putting on top. So the sugar's gone a bit hard. You use caster sugar, but powder sugar or icing sugar is finer, so you don't get lumpy bits. Okay, so once you're happy with it, and that should be okay, you're going to put that on top of your biscuits. So I'm going to use a spatula here. It's quite runny at the moment. I probably would give that another whisk just to get it a little bit thicker, but it should be fine after it's chilled. Okay, so I'm going to put that in, pour it in. If it's very thick yours, which it might be, just put it in dollops on the top, like spoonfuls, and then spread it out. But you can see that's quite soft, and it should set quite well. So it's going to go into the fridge. I mean, technically you could really try and eat it now if you wanted. You would start, if you really wanted to, you would do it quickly, but I want to set that, and it'll take about half an hour, and then I'm going to decorate it. See you in a bit. Hi, the cheesecake's been in the fridge overnight and it's hardened up a little bit. So I've just decorated this piece with some sliced strawberries. So you could just, when you've got strawberries or fruit that are in season, or you could use tinned mandarins, you can either decorate an individual piece like I've done, or you could decorate the whole lot. It's really up to you, depends when you're eating it. But to do strawberries, easy way, just cut off the stalk and then you can just slice it thinly there, and they go further that way as well. And then you can just decorate it, and you can do all sorts of patterns. You can do like little stars in the middle, or you can do, so it goes on like that on the front, and you could put like half a strawberry in the middle, or you can use just a strawberry and just do it into quarters like that, and uses a lot more fruit doing that, but it's quite nice. So I hope you enjoy cheesecake. If you want to try it with mascarpone cheese instead of Philadelphia cheese or cream cheese, it works just as well. And you could even put some sprinkled chocolate flake or grated chocolate on the top, whatever you like. Okay, see you next time.